Witnesses say last seen getting into the ocean has now disappeared.
That's right. In attendance at this news conference, the police chief as well as the chair here in the Indian River County Commission here in Vero Beach. Now, I want to show you the photo of the suspect in this case, who the police chief is calling a person of interest. He is Jesse Scott Ellis. He is married to the female victim in this case.
Vero Beach police officers responded to reports of a multiple gunshots in the area of 1600 block, 21st Street. Many of you were there already. That's our main library, Indian River County main library, that's within our city limits downtown.
So we have a man that's possibly on the run. He could be in the ocean somewhere floating, but possibly on the run after taking out his wife and what they are saying her lover. I'm going to explain to you all the details coming up. This is a wild one. Stay tuned. Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. Hey, like it says on the hat. And if you want any of the merch, it's below or to the side. And I am your host of Fugitive TV, where we take a look at cases, true crime, any people that are missing, any case that needs a spotlight that I feel that's not getting a lot of attention. And sometimes we look at the case from a different point of view, because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I was on the run for 15 years of my life. I actually I was living in different countries under different names before I eventually turned myself in. And now I'm a motivational speaker. I have this YouTube channel. I help other families and individuals get justice for loved ones. Because I was on the other side of the fence one time, so I know what it takes to not want to be found. Today, we're actually going to talk about another fugitive that's right here out of Florida, but this is Vero Beach, Florida. I'm on the other side of Florida. Vero Beach is on the West Coast. So this is right here in Florida out of Vero Beach. And it's about a gentleman, or if you want to call him a gentleman, a fugitive now, or somebody who's on the run, a suspect, wherever you want to call him. His name is Jesse Scott Ellis. He is 64 years old. Right now, he is wanted, okay? He is wanted. And for you people that don't know this, YouTube, when you're a smaller channel like mine, you can't say the M word, M-U-R-D-E-R. You can, but then you risk your channel getting flagged. So this is why you always hear words like unaliving, which I don't like, but YouTube has silly guidelines that we have to filter out. So he's wanted for unaliving two individuals. One individual is his wife, okay? Wife's name is Stacie Mason. The other individual is Stacie's co-worker, Danny Ooley. I believe I'm pronouncing his name right. O-O-L-E-Y. O-O-L-E-Y. Ooley, okay?
Now, what we're learning right now, as we already know, yesterday, police received a call at around 7 a.m. that two people, adults, a male and a female, were found deceased in a vehicle near the main library here in Vero Beach. Well, the police chief says there is surveillance video that shows that suspect, Mr. Ellis, with a long gun, shooting the male victim and then the female victim. They say he and his wife have been married for 13 years.
Now, I'm going to read you a report real quick of what's going on. This is from WP-TV. A man suspected of unaliving two Indian River County public work employees outside a library on Tuesday. Now, like I said, these were two co-workers. We're going to get into more details of possibly why they were together. Still at large, police said during a Wednesday news conference. So this happened yesterday, all right? The shooting occurred around Tuesday at about 7 a.m. So yesterday, 7 a.m. Remember 7 a.m. because that's going to be a very important detail. And I'm going to let you know why that's an important detail. So it happened yesterday or Tuesday at 7 a.m. in the back parking lot of the Indian River County Main Street, okay? Which is 1600 21st Street. When officers arrived, they found the bodies of Danny Ooley, the assistant director of public works, and Stacie Mason, a traffic analyst technician. And then it goes on to tell us that Vero Beach Police Chief David Curry said Ooley arrived at a parking lot in a Ford Ranger. Mason then arrived in a short time later in an SUV. I believe her SUV is a Honda, but I'm not sure, but I believe it's a Honda. So she arrived in her SUV, then got into the passenger side of Ooley's truck. Now, right after she got into the passenger side, on the surveillance video, it shows Jesse Scott Ellis, the one who's wanted right now, her husband, arrived at the scene and approached the Ford Ranger. The library was a location where the victims apparently met before they met again thereafter morning. Mr. Ellis currently was aware of that, what Curry said. So we're going to get into why and possibly how he found out, okay? So they would meet there at the library early in the morning before they would have to go to work, and it was a frequent thing. Using a long-range weapon described as being similar to an AR-15, police said Ellis fired multiple shots into the Ford Ranger to terminate Uli and Mason. Curry said the weapon was recovered at the scene of the crime. Now, this doesn't give you some of the details. Now, what the other part of this is, he walked up to the driver's side of the truck, the Ford Ranger, fired at Uli, fired inside, and I guess took him out right then and there, and then walked around to the passenger side. And when he walked around to the passenger side, that's when he started firing at his wife, Stacie. Now, the reports are saying what the surveillance video shows is Stacie actually either fell out of the car or the truck, or he pulled her out. They're not sure, but one of the two, they do know that she fell out or he pulled her out and then pretty much sadly finished her off like that. After the shooting occurred, Curry said Ellis drove to the nearby South Beach Park, which we're going to take a look at that. Went into the ocean fully clothed, okay? So he went to the ocean fully clothed, swam about 900 yards offshore. You guys know how long 900 yards is? Take a wild guess. Let me know below. What do you think 900 yards is? Do you think you can swim 900 yards? At about 8 a.m. Tuesday, police said first responders received a call saying a man was spotted going into the ocean. Curry said fire department crews responded to the Remore Country Club area, used a boat, and went into the water to get Ellis. Now, bystanders saw him get into the water fully clothed, and I guess felt it was weird, so then they called, 911. 911 came, and what they did was they sent out a boat, because remember, he's 900 yards in the ocean already, so only people that can get to him is by boat. So then when they arrived to him, not knowing who he was, rescuers spoke to him, but did not bring him back to shore, all right? They determined that he was in a safe scenario. He gave them a name, but it wasn't his real name. So when it got to him, I guess hey, are you safe? Are you out here drowning? And he was like, hey, I'm fine, and gave them a fake name. So then they left him. They did not know who he was at the time, because remember, this happened right after the shooting took place.
And they were in the middle of a divorce. Now, they say after that took place, they got a call from a viewer, a resident near the beach, that said they saw a man fully clothed walking into the ocean. Well, detectives went to that scene. They found what they say is the suspect's vehicle, Mr. Ellis's vehicle. And for more on the victims and that scene, we go to my colleague, Jolie Rodriguez, who is at the beach right now. Jolie.
Curry said Ellis and Mason were married for 13 years and called what happened a crime of passion. The two victims were apparently seeing each other for a period of time, and one husband was upset about it. Miss Mason and Mr. Ellis were in the midst of potentially separating or divorcing, from what we've learned, and maybe over the last several weeks to a month or so, their home was getting ready to be sold. So they were conversing amongst themselves about separating and selling a home. Curry said Oli was also a married man, calling his relationship with Mason essentially an affair. This was a targeted marital issue that went terribly, terribly wrong. Police located Ellis's unoccupied vehicle, a 2022 Ford F-150 at South Beach Park on Tuesday. We were literally searching this vehicle right now, Curry said. I can't share enough that was discovered yet. When Curry was asked where he thinks Ellis is located, the police chief responded, that's a good question. Police said all this is still a very, very active investigation. This is a little unique, but we're still shifting through a lot of the evidence right now. Curry said he could have drowned potentially. He could have come back out of the water. We do not know. Curry said law enforcement agencies continue to scour the waters on Wednesday using boats and drones in their search for Ellis. Search warrants have been executed at the residence connected to the suspect. Investigators recovered multiple firearms and digital evidence, including cell phones, which are currently undergoing forensic analysis. Uli worked for the county for nearly 25 years, while Mason had worked for the county since 2014. Danny rose from the ranks as a maintenance worker to assistant public works director, worked almost 25 years within the county, and then you have Stacie, who spent 14 years as a traffic analyst, well-liked, brought smiles to people's faces, and very positive, Indian River County Administrator. Now, I do have a picture I found on Facebook of Danny getting promoted to his rank of what he is right now, and he just got promoted.
Upon arrival, officers located 2 adult victims, a male and a female, suffering from multiple wounds in and around a vehicle in a nearby parking lot. Again, just north of the library there, a large parking lot. So that's victim number. One of our victims, female victim, Stacie Ellis Mason, with her date of birth and age there. And then we'll share with you the second victim, male Danny Uli, as well. So Stacie is the wife of our suspect, who is currently a person of interest. Let's show him a slide of that as well. And again, we'll get into some details. Jesse Ellis with his information there as well.
That's Stacie's Mr. Ellis.
Husband of 13 years. We understand about 13 years of marriage with Stacie E. as in Ellis Mason. Yes.
So as you see in an article, it says that Danny, who's one of the victims, and Stacie, who's the wife, who is also one of the victims, were both seeing each other. Now, they were apparently meeting in the back parking lot of the library at 7 a.m. and they would frequently do this. Now, when I looked up that library, because I looked it up, the library doesn't even open up till 10 a.m. Okay. So why would they be in the back parking lot of the library when it doesn't even open up till 10 a.m.? Now, there was a reporter who reached out to Danny Uli's side. I think it was his mother. The mother said that Danny would never, have an affair. He would never cheat because Danny was also married. But then again, why are they meeting in the back parking lot? And if you're a person that's having an affair, if you're cheating on your wife or cheating on your husband, I am pretty sure you're not going to want to tell your family about this. You are keeping this to yourself. No way you're telling your family, hey, I'm cheating on my wife or I'm cheating on my husband. It doesn't really happen that way. Now, you might tell a best friend, possibly, but you're not going to tell your family because you don't want to look bad, especially if you've been married. They said, I think it was like 13 years. They've been married for a long time. So their families probably know each other. So, but they, Jesse and Stacie, who were the married couple, was supposedly selling their house. They are saying they were potentially going to split. So if they were potentially going to split, it depends on what their situation is. It all depends. But like I said, 7 a.m. and the library doesn't open up till 10 a.m. Now, they're not saying how long this went on whatsoever, but I do know exactly how, because you're probably wondering, how did he find out they were meeting in the library? How was he at the library pretty much waiting for them to pop up? He hired professional services to spy on Stacie. Now, they're not saying what kind of services, but hey, my only guess would be he hired a private investigator to spy on Stacie. I've had people reach out to me to pay me to spy on an individual just because I'm good at research. I'm good at finding things. I've had people try and hire me to try and find an individual to bring justice to a family member, okay, which I've helped a couple. And if you look right here, the follow the dark blue line, it's only a 12-minute drive from the library to the water, to that beach. So he did what he did, hopped in his car, drove 12 minutes to the beach area and did what he did and jumped in the water. So this right here is the beach, actually, where he ended up parking his car, and where they found everything. Found his car, they found the weapons and stuff like that. So I'm guessing this is where he parked it at, because in one of the newspaper clippings and pictures I've seen, it does show police searching in this area with yellow tape, because right over these trees is the water.
Detectives quickly obtained and reviewed surveillance footage from the area, which captured the suspect approaching the victims, opening fire on the vehicle. So we're not going to be able to share that surveillance video with you just yet. We're in talking with the state attorney's office, kind of combing through that as well. That's part of our active investigation, but there is some surveillance video that we obtained from the library area.
Now, don't get me wrong. Allegedly, even if these people were having an affair, they were seeing each other, this is no excuse for you to go out, take a weapon, and start terminating people. There's no excuse for that. At this point is when you should put your feelings, your emotions to the side, and just walk away. If anything, if you're a man out there or a woman and this is happening to you, if anything, take evidence. If you have a private investigator, then hey, take all the pictures you need, all the video you need, because this is going to help you in court when you do go for your divorce or your settlement. This is going to help you be able to split things down the line a certain way if there's more favor to you, especially if the other person is out having an affair, you know, committing adultery or whatever it is. It's going to work in your favor, especially if you have evidence of this. So this is no excuse for a person to go out of their way, because it's not like he walked in the house and he caught them in the bedroom. There's still no excuse for that. But even when you walk in the house and you catch somebody, let's say in your bedroom, and they're cheating, yeah, emotions will take over. You want to do something to the person right then and there, you know, and a lot of times you can't control that. But he actually went out of his way, went to where they were at to do it. And a lot of these crimes, a lot of these unalivings happen due to feelings. I would say 99% of the time, this is all feelings. A person cannot handle being rejected, losing, or coming in second, or whatever you want to call it, and their feelings and emotions take the best of them, and they feel they have to take the other person out, because if I can't have you, nobody will. And now not only that person's life is ruined, your life is ruined. We don't know if this man is drowned and floating in the ocean somewhere, or he successfully did run off somewhere, okay? Now, I did look at his background. He did have a property up in north, I believe it was Connecticut or Vermont. I have to look at that, but he did have property up there. It looks like he sold it, though, a while ago. I am looking right now at his background just to make sure. Yes, he is originally from Vermont. He is originally from there. So he did have, I don't know if he still does, but he could possibly still have some sort of property up in Vermont and relatives that are up in Vermont, because he's only lived in 2 states his whole life that I can see from here, which is Florida and Vermont are the only 2 places, or I should say states, that he lived at. So a lot of times when somebody goes on a run, if he's not floating out somewhere, a lot of times when somebody goes on the run, I've described this before, they will go to a area that they know, or go be with the individual that they know. He does have a relative also in South Carolina. I'm looking at that right now, which is on the way to Vermont. So you can get from Vero Beach to South Carolina in about, I think it's like 10 hours, maybe 8 hours, something like that. It's actually not that far. Yeah, so he could be going up to South Carolina. I saw a relative in North Carolina up to Vermont. If he's still alive, I could see him making his way back up there. One reason why is because Vermont has a lot of mountains, and not only that, you know what's up by Vermont, people? Canada. One of the places I went to when I was on the run was Canada. So he could be on his way up there. Hey, what do I know, right? But this is no excuse for people to do this. So please, if this is happening to you, just walk away. Don't risk your life. I know it's going to feel like everything is over with, but trust me, it is not. I am living proof. It's not over with. You can make a second chance of life and do other things that are different. All right. Well, I just wanted to bring the story to you. I have another video coming up later on for you guys as well. Please like, subscribe, comment below if you are familiar with this case or you heard of it, Also comment below where you're watching this from, because I try and interact with everybody that I can. Sometimes the comments will get out of hand, which I love, and I try and interact with everybody that I can and talk to, and I like to see where people are watching this from. The membership, please join the membership. That is a way you can help support the channel, okay? I do membership videos. A lot of times it's going to be for court dates or updates on statuses. And when I do lives, sometimes I will do a live, and after the live is done, if you don't catch the live, the replay will be for members only. I'm also going to start doing lives where members can actually call in and voice their opinions about certain topics or certain situations or crimes. I'm going to be starting that really soon, okay? Thank you so much for supporting Fugitive TV. Once again, I am your host, Ray Marcel, and take care of one another. Look out for your surroundings. Look out at your surroundings, all right? Please take care. Fugitive TV, I'm out.